So, every year, we hear the term flagship killer. It gets thrown around a lot, sometimes for phones that don't quite earn it. They might have one great feature, like a big battery, but then they cut corners everywhere else. A mediocre screen, a slow chip, you know the drill. It's a promise that often feels a little hollow. The idea is simple. Deliver the experience of a $1,000 phone for a fraction of the price. But getting that balance right, making the right compromises without sacrificing the core experience, is the real magic trick. And very few companies manage to pull it off consistently. But then there's Poco. For years, they've been chipping away at this formula, getting closer and closer with each generation. The F series has always been their champion in this space, aimed squarely at people who care about performance above all else. This year, with the PocoF7, it feels like they've finally cracked the code. It's not just about one or two standout specs anymore. Instead, it's a carefully assembled package of high-end components that work together to create a genuinely premium experience, forcing us to ask a very serious question: why would you spend more? This phone lands on my desk at a perfect time, on June 26, 2025, when the market is flooded with expensive flagships that offer diminishing returns. You're paying hundreds more for features you might barely notice. The PocoF7, however, takes a different approach. It focuses on the fundamentals, the things you interact with every single day. We're talking about raw speed, a gorgeous display for scrolling and watching videos, and a battery that just refuses to die. It's a statement piece, a device that proves you don't need to empty your wallet to get a phone that feels fast and reliable. The initial unboxing experience itself sets the tone. You get the phone, a clear case, and, most importantly, the fast charger right there in the box. That's already a win in 2025. Holding it for the first time, you can tell it's not trying to be the thinnest or lightest device out there. It's substantial. It feels engineered for a purpose, and that purpose is to deliver an incredible amount of power without the fluff. So, let's dive in and see if the PocoF7 really is the ultimate flagship killer we've been waiting for. Does it live up to the hype? Alright, let's talk about what's under the hood, because this is where the PocoF7 really starts to shine. The heart of this phone is the new Snapdragon 8S Gen 4 chipset. Now, this isn't the full-blown 8 Gen 4 you'll find in a $1,200 device, but think of it as a slightly tuned-down version that keeps almost all of the flagship-level performance. For everyday tasks, opening apps, browsing the web, multitasking between a dozen different things, it is indistinguishably fast from its more expensive siblings. There is zero hesitation, no stutter, no lag. It just flies. The phone is configured with generous amounts of memory and storage, which is crucial for that smooth experience. The base model starts with 12 GB of the latest LPDDR5X RAM, and you can spec it up to 16 GB. That is more than enough to keep a ton of apps open in the background without needing to reload them. For storage, you're getting fast UFS 4.0, starting at 256 GB. No slow eMMC storage here. This means apps and games install quickly, and files transfer in a flash. It's these little things that add up to a phone that feels premium in use, not just on a spec sheet. But raw power is only half the story, especially for gaming. A powerful chip that gets too hot will slow itself down, a process called thermal throttling, and your performance will fall off a cliff. Poco knows their audience, and they've put a serious focus on cooling. They're using a massive vapor chamber cooling system inside, which they call Liquid Cool Technology 4.0. It's designed to draw heat away from the processor and spread it across a larger surface area, allowing the phone to sustain its peak performance for much longer periods. It's not just marketing, it actually works. I spent a solid hour playing Genshin Impact and Call of Duty Mobile at the highest graphical settings, and the results were impressive. While the back of the phone got warm to the touch, it never became uncomfortably hot. More importantly, the frame rate remained incredibly stable. There were no major dips or stutters that you often see on other phones in this price range after about 20 minutes. This sustained performance is what separates a good phone from a great gaming phone, and the PocoF7 proves it has the cooling to back up its powerful processor. It's built for performance that lasts. A fast processor doesn't mean much if you're looking at a bad screen. Luckily, the display on the PocoF7 is another area where it feels like you're using a much more expensive device. It's a huge 6.7-inch AMOLED panel, and it is absolutely gorgeous. The colors are vibrant and punchy, as you'd expect from a quality OLED, and the blacks are perfectly deep. This makes everything from watching movies on Netflix to just scrolling through your Instagram feed a real joy. It's a very immersive screen, thanks to the incredibly thin bezels on all four sides. One of the standout features here is the brightness. Poco claims a peak brightness of 2000 nits, and while you won't see that in normal use, it translates to fantastic outdoor visibility. I used the phone in direct sunlight, and I had no trouble seeing the screen clearly, which is something that many mid-range phones still struggle with. It also supports all the major HDR formats, including Dolby Vision, so compatible content looks stunning, with bright highlights and detailed shadows. It's a true flagship-grade viewing experience that punches way above its price point. Of course, we have to talk about the refresh rate. The PocoF7 comes with a 144Hz refresh rate, which makes everything on the screen feel incredibly fluid and responsive. Just scrolling through menus or your social media feeds feels buttery smooth. The phone uses an adaptive refresh rate, so it can intelligently switch between lower and higher rates depending on what you're doing to save battery life. For example, it will ramp up to 144Hz for gaming or scrolling, but drop down for static images. This implementation is seamless. You never notice it happening. You just get the benefits of both smoothness and efficiency. The display also houses a fast and reliable in-display fingerprint scanner. It's placed in a comfortable position towards the bottom of the screen, and in my testing, it worked almost flawlessly, unlocking the phone instantly with just a light touch. The combination of the huge size, the vibrant colors, the high brightness, and that super smooth refresh rate makes this display one of the best you can get at this price, full stop. It's a screen that you will genuinely enjoy looking at every single day, and it never feels like a compromise. Now, let's talk about the physical device itself, the in-hand feel, the materials, and the overall design. The first thing you'll notice when you pick up the PocoF7 is its size. This is not a small phone by any means. With its 6.7-inch display and a substantial battery inside, it has a significant presence in your hand and in your pocket. It weighs over 200 grams, so it definitely has some heft to it. For people who love large phones for media consumption and gaming, this size is a huge plus. But if you're looking for a compact one-handed device, this probably isn't it. In terms of design, Poco has refined its aesthetic to look a bit more mature and less gamery than some of its previous models. My review unit is the matte black color, and it has a frosted glass back that feels great to the touch and does an excellent job of resisting fingerprints. The frame is made of a high-quality aluminum, which adds to the phone's sturdy and rigid feel. There are no creaks or flecks here. It feels like a solid slab of technology, well constructed and ready to handle daily use without any issues. The camera module is also redesigned into a clean circular bump that looks modern and purposeful. Despite its mid-range price, the build quality feels surprisingly premium. Poco has included an IP54 rating for dust and splash resistance, which gives you some peace of mind against light rain or accidental spills, though you shouldn't be submerging it in water. The buttons are clicky and tactile, and the haptics, the little vibrations you feel when typing or getting a notification, are tight and precise, much better than the mushy, cheap-feeling haptics you often find in this segment. These are the small details that elevate the day-to-day experience of using the phone. Overall, the PocoF7 presents a trade-off. You get a phone that is built exceptionally well with premium materials, but you have to be comfortable with its larger size and weight. It's a device that feels confident and durable, not delicate. For the target audience who will be gaming and watching videos on this thing for hours, the large, immersive screen and the robust build are likely a welcome combination. It feels less like a compromise and more like a deliberate design choice aimed squarely at power users who value screen real estate and a solid build over pocketability. A powerful phone with a great screen is honestly kind of useless if the battery dies by 3 p.m. This is another area where Poco has consistently delivered, and the F7 is no exception. Inside this device is a massive 5,500 mAh battery. That's a larger capacity than what you'll find in many mainstream flagships, including the latest iPhone and Samsung Galaxy S series. A bigger battery usually translates to longer battery life, and in my testing, the PocoF7 has been an absolute endurance champion. It's a true all-day phone, and for many people, it will easily be a 2-day phone. On a typical day of use for me, which includes a lot of email, browsing, social media, some camera use, and about an hour of watching YouTube, I was consistently ending the day with around 40 to 50% of battery left. That is incredibly strong performance and honestly provides a huge buffer, so you never have to worry about battery anxiety. On lighter days, I could easily push it through a second full day. For heavy users who are gaming and recording 4K video, you can still confidently expect it to last from morning until night without needing a top-up. The combination of the large battery and the efficient Snapdragon chip really pays off. When you do eventually need to charge, the PocoF7 gets you back in the game incredibly quickly. It supports 90-watt wired charging, and as I mentioned, the 90-watt charger and cable come right in the box. This is a huge deal. In my tests, I was able to charge the phone from 1% to 50% in just about 15 minutes. A full charge from 1% to 100% took right around 35 minutes. This completely changes how you think about charging. You don't need to leave it plugged in overnight anymore. A quick top-up while you're getting ready in the morning is all you need for a full day of use. The only minor omission here is the lack of wireless charging. Given the price point and the focus on core performance specs, this is a very understandable and common corner to cut. For most people in the flagship killer market, ultra-fast wired charging is far more practical and valuable than the convenience of slower wireless charging. The battery story here is simple and compelling. It lasts a very long time and it charges back up in a flash. For a phone built for power users, Poco has absolutely nailed the battery experience. So, the performance is great, the screen is beautiful, and the battery is a beast. But what about the cameras? This is usually the area where flagship killer phones make their biggest compromises. And while the PocoF7 doesn't have the most versatile camera system on the market, the main camera is surprisingly capable and will be more than good enough for most people. It's using a 50-megapixel Sony sensor, a large modern sensor with optical image stabilization, which is key for getting sharp shots, especially in low light. In good daylight, the main camera produces excellent photos. The images are sharp, detailed, and have a pleasing natural color science. Poco's image processing has gotten much better over the years, and it no longer oversaturates colors or looks artificial. Dynamic range is also very good, with the phone doing a nice job of balancing bright skies and dark shadows in the same shot. For posting on social media or sharing with family and friends, the photos from this main sensor are fantastic and can easily compete with phones that cost significantly more. It's a reliable point-and-shoot camera. The story changes a bit when you switch to the other lenses. The PocoF7 includes an 8-megapixel ultra-wide camera, and it's fine. It does the job of fitting more into the frame, but the quality is a noticeable step down from the main sensor. Details are softer, especially around the edges of the frame, and the colors don't match the main camera perfectly. In low light, the ultra-wide struggles quite a bit. There's no telephoto lens for optical zoom either. You're relying entirely on digital crop from the main sensor, which is okay at 2 times but falls apart beyond that. Up front, the 20-megapixel selfie camera is solid. It produces sharp and detailed selfies in good lighting with accurate skin tones. It's perfectly adequate for video calls and social media posts. When it comes to video, the phone can shoot up to 4K at 60 frames per second from the main camera, and the footage looks smooth and stable thanks to the OIS. So here's the catch. If you're someone who lives and breathes by their ultra-wide or needs a powerful telephoto zoom, this isn't the camera system for you. But if you primarily use your main camera, the PocoF7 delivers results that are far better than its price would suggest. The best hardware in the world can be let down by bad software. Fortunately, the PocoF7 runs on Xiaomi's HyperOS, which is built on top of the latest Android 15. In the past, Xiaomi's software could be a bit cluttered and inconsistent, but HyperOS is a huge step in the right direction. The interface is clean, modern, and feels very responsive, perfectly complementing the phone's 144Hz display. Animations are smooth, and navigating the system feels cohesive and well thought out. It pulls a lot of inspiration from iOS, but it does so in a way that is functional and easy to use. One of the best things about HyperOS on the PocoF7 is the lack of bloatware compared to previous generations. While there are still a few pre-installed apps, most of them can be uninstalled. The system feels much lighter and closer to a stock Android experience than ever before, with useful customizations layered on top. You get features like an advanced theme engine, powerful multitasking tools like floating windows, and a robust privacy dashboard. It strikes a good balance between offering powerful features for those who want them and staying out of the way for those who prefer a simpler experience. A major selling point for any phone in 2025 is its software support policy. In the past, this was a weak point for many Android manufacturers, but Poco is stepping up its game. The company is promising 3 major Android version updates and 4 years of security patches for the PocoF7. This means the phone, which launches with Android 15, will be updated all the way to Android 18. This is a fantastic commitment for a phone in this price category and gives you the confidence that your device will remain safe, secure, and up-to-date for years to come. This long-term support is a huge factor in the phone's overall value proposition. It means you can buy the PocoF7 today and not have to worry about it becoming obsolete or insecure in 2 years. It transforms the device from just a great deal into a smart, long-term investment. The clean user experience of HyperOS, combined with this excellent update promise, makes the software one of the strongest pillars of the PocoF7. It's a reliable, fast, and future-proofed experience that completes the flagship killer package. So, we've established that the PocoF7 has a flagship-level processor, a top-tier display, a huge battery with super-fast charging, and a very capable main camera. It's built well and comes with a great software promise. This is the point where you'd expect to hear a price tag that starts with a 6 or a 7. But this is where Poco works its magic. The official launch date for the PocoF7 is today, June 26, 2025, with global availability rolling out over the next few weeks. And the pricing is aggressive, to say the least. The base model, with 12 GB of RAM and 256 GB of storage, is launching in North America for just $449. In Europe, it's priced at €499, and in India, it comes in at 34,999 rupees. There is also a higher tier model with 16 GB of RAM and 512 GB of storage for just $50 more. This pricing strategy doesn't just undercut the big players like Apple and Samsung, it puts immense pressure on other mid-range competitors. It's a price that makes you stop and seriously reconsider paying 2 or even 3 times more for a true flagship. To make the deal even sweeter, Poco is offering some aggressive launch day discounts. For the first week of sales, there's an early bird discount that knocks another $50 off the price, bringing the starting cost down to an incredible $399. This is an absolutely killer deal for the amount of phone you're getting. At that price, there is simply nothing on the market that can compete with the raw performance and premium features the PocoF7 offers. It's a strategic move designed to get the phone into as many hands as possible right from the start. When you compare it to other popular phones, the value becomes even clearer. The Nothing Phone 3, for example, offers a unique design and a clean software experience, but comes with a less powerful processor for a higher price. The Samsung Galaxy A series offers a great brand name and display, but can't match the F7's raw speed or charging. The PocoF7 carves out its own space by focusing purely on delivering the best possible performance and core experience for the lowest possible price. It's a simple formula, but when executed this well, it's almost impossible to beat. So, after spending over a week with the PocoF7, we come to the final question. Is this the ultimate flagship killer? And who should actually go out and buy this phone? Let's break it down. The pros are clear and incredibly compelling. First and foremost, the performance is outstanding. The Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 chip, paired with ample RAM and excellent cooling, delivers a consistently fast and fluid experience. Whether you're a heavy multitasker or a serious mobile gamer, this phone does not feel slow, ever. The second major pro is the display. It's big, bright, and buttery smooth with its 144Hz refresh rate. It's an absolute joy for watching videos, playing games, or just scrolling. Add to that the phenomenal battery life from the 5500 mAh cell and the ridiculously fast 90-watt charging, and you have a phone that is built for heavy, uninterrupted use. The solid build quality and the promise of 4 years of software updates are just the icing on the cake, providing long-term value and peace of mind. These are the core pillars that make the F7 so impressive. Of course, no phone is perfect, and the PocoF7 has its cons. The camera system, while having a great main sensor, is not the most versatile. The 8-megapixel ultra-wide is just average, and the lack of a telephoto lens means your zoom capabilities are limited. It's also a very large and heavy phone, which will be a deal breaker for anyone who prefers a more compact device. Finally, The absence of wireless charging might be a minor inconvenience for some, though the lightning-fast wired charging largely makes up for it. These are the compromises Poco made to hit that incredible price point. So, here's the verdict. The PocoF7 is not for the person who needs the absolute best camera system with 10 times optical zoom. It's not for the person who values a slim, lightweight design above all else. Instead, the PocoF7 is the perfect phone for the power user on a budget. It is for the student who wants a device that can handle intense gaming sessions and last all day through classes. It's for the tech enthusiast who craves flagship-level speed and a high refresh rate screen without the flagship price tag. It's for anyone who values performance and battery life over everything else. For that person, the PocoF7 isn't just a good option. It's arguably the best and smartest choice on the market today.